how did you feel getting your first win against Liam Evans?
For me, that first win was everything to me, because before that, my mum died. Unfortunately, she died. So I was meant to schedule a fight on another show before that, but that fell through due to the main camp and the promoters having disagreements. So that whole show fell through. And then a few weeks after that, I found out my mum died. So then I got rescheduled to fight Liam Evans. So I'm trying to get my mind into a mental state in order to fight. But that was like the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And to obviously so win that one was just, it was everything to me, it really was.
Wow. Amazing. And just for the viewers watching, you've recently just turned 20, right?
Yes, just recently turned 20.
Amazing. And you first competed at 17, is that right?
17, yes.
You recently fought another 17-year-olds in your last fights. Probably would say your most impressive fights against Tom Senior. Would that be fair to say?
I would say it's one of my most best performances, I would say, to date. But again, I wasn't happy with that performance even after again putting on such a dominant performance.
What wasn't you happy with?
Well, a few times I was close to getting the Von Flue choke, because once I took him down, he was holding to the guillotine in side control. And Sean's the loudest guy to ever have in your corner. Literally, there could be 15,000, 30,000 people. You got to hear him over all them. And he was shouting to me, Von Flue, Von Flue. So I was trying to get it. I wasn't able to finish it. So that was one of the things that I saw back and I wasn't happy with. But as well, my ground and pound, I wish I was a bit more selective with my shots. And a few times, the referee was very close to stepping in. If I'd continued, I reckon I would have got a TKO win rather than a decision.
Right. Yeah. I mean, talking about your fans against Liam Evans, it got really loud in there. You've got some following, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. That's on a local show that is in Carnarvon Market Hall. Azi and another coach, Chris Pitchard, organised that show, and it's a great show to fight on. There's always a great crowd, close to 500, maybe 1,000 people. So it's always loud. It's always loud.
It was really, really loud. Yeah, I have to say. And then talking about Market Mayhem, I believe that you've just recently announced some news on your social media. Is that right?
Yes. So obviously, if you've seen it, Chris and Naz have now finally come to agreements. We're having a Market Mayhem no crowd fight island, and obviously, if you've seen it, I'm fighting George Herbert.
Brilliant. So are you able to disclose any more information, i.e., do you know who your opponent is?
Yes, I know who he is. He's a local lad like me. He trains at another gym. He's a seasoned boxer. He's a very good little boxer. He's about 9-1, I think, in boxing. He's a champion in boxing. So this is going to be his first MMA fight. This is, and he messaged me asking to fight him on the show. And I was going to fight him because I want to test myself against someone with that sort of level of stand-up. But because he'd never done MMA before, I was thinking, is there actually any point? So I messaged Az and said, look, he's offered me a fight. Do you see a point in the matchup? If you do, let's take it. But if not, then I'll just message say that I don't see any point.
Right. I see. Okay. So he reached out to you?
Yeah, he reached out to me there saying, the message was saying, look, I've seen that you're doing very, very well. And I believe that you're the most challenging opponent that I could find myself, and I want to test myself against your skill set.
And is it going to be an MMA fight, or is it going to be
it's going to be an MMA fight.
It's going to be
his MMA debut.
Wow. So I can almost imagine what your game plan is.
I can't disclose too much because more like he'll watch this, but I've got a little idea in mind.
Good stuff. Well, I wish you the very best of luck with that fight.
Cheers, mate.
You're welcome. So is it scary to think the experience that you've gained at such a young age, but also scary to think how much more you've still got to learn and improve?
I think it is scary to think that, the level I got at and what I've competed at is very, very high, but I still don't believe I've reached my full potential yet. No. Like I said, I'm only 20 years old. I've got plenty of time in the sport. I can still grow, still develop, and still learn my craft. So I think the sky's the limit for me, in my opinion.
I agree. And one thing that you show as part of your fighting craft is your body slams.
Yeah.
You do love a body slam, don't you?
Oh yes, I do love body slam. Love going up 3 miles.
Is that natural strength, or is that strength that you've had to really work on in the gym?
So it's strength, but I've had to work on the gym because when I was a scrawny little kid, so everyone was a lot stronger than me and a lot bigger than me. So I've had to learn the proper technique and the proper way of doing it. But once I start getting older and developing my man strength, then I can start, doing these high aerial takedowns like the high crotch, lifting them up, slamming them. And ever since then, any chance I get to do it, I just take the chance and I just slam them as hard as I can.
I know you do. I've seen them.
Mm.
I've seen them. Wow. And your level of sportsmanship, I have to also add and highlight for everyone. Your level of sportsmanship is certainly amongst the best that I've seen. I've seen you carry your opponents around the cage, and that's after they've beaten you. Is that an element that you're conscientious to demonstrate in every fight, no matter the outcome?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard for me not to respect someone who's got in the cage and gone to battle with me. So if you beat me, I will show you respect. I'll be sportsmanlike. I'm not a sore loser. I won't shake your hand or lift you up and carry you around the cage. I'm not stuck up. Or, I'm not a sore loser. I'd rather be humble and show sportsmanship rather be sour and just stuck up.
Sure. No, agreed. Again, great attitude from you, Harry. And what are your MMA plans and objectives? Have you got one eye on the professional MMA scene?
Yeah, absolutely. I've as soon as I started competing, I was like, I want to try and make this a career. So hopefully, in the near future, turn professional. First of all, I was meant to compete in the IMMAFs this year in Rome, but obviously due to the pandemic, that got cancelled. And then I got told that the Worlds in the IMMAFs were still going ahead, but again, I think they've been cancelled. So I'll probably have to wait till next year for that.
So how did that all come about then?
The IMMAFs came about because I saw a post on Instagram from IPC Wrexham saying they were holding Team Wales tryouts. So me and a few teammates went up there just to give it a go and obviously for some rounds. And they said, if we like your style and we want to pick you, we'll email you in a couple of weeks to let you know whether you've been picked or not.
Excellent. And describe that sort of moment when you found out that you will be representing your nation.
When I got the email, I thought it was a joke. So I messaged them back saying, I really appreciate it. But the question, is this a joke? And of course, they messaged. Yeah, I actually thought I wasn't going to get picked because a lot of the lads that were there were very, very good. It's like high-level strikers, grapplers, just like all-round game. So I just went there just to give it a go and say I did it. But to find out I was representing Wales was huge because my mum always wanted me to represent Wales playing rugby because I wasn't good at rugby. That was like in the distant future and never going to happen. So when I got found I was representing Wales, it was a dream come true.
Yeah, you must have been really made up.
Absolutely. Plus, when I found out it was in Rome, my mum always wanted to go to Rome. So to represent my country in Rome, where she always wanted to go, it felt almost superstitious in a way. It always felt like a movie.
Oh, that's nice. And describe that disappointment with the events being sort of postponed to possibly next year.
It's a bitter pill to swallow, and obviously I'm devastated because I started fundraising, started getting things planned. But as soon as it started, I was kind of like thinking, "Oh, is this going to get cancelled?" And when I went to the first team Wales tryout group training session, there was no mention of it whatsoever. But obviously, as the pandemic started getting more global and started getting more worse, then obviously we found out it was cancelled, which I kind of hoped it wasn't going to happen, but deep down I knew it was.
And have they announced a new date or not as yet?
Not yet for the foreseeable future, but all I know is that all IMMAF events are cancelled until
Right.
until further notice.
And once it's been arranged, are you planning on competing, or do you think by that time you would have gone professional?
I'll be competing that definitely, because that's the highest level for an amateur to compete at. So it's like you see a lot of guys pad their records, trying to get a massive, huge record. For the IMMAF, there is no kind of record whatsoever. There's the number of guys in your weight category is the best, fight the best, and you have no say on who you fight. Whoever you get picked to fight is who you're fighting. So I'll definitely be competing that once it's rescheduled.
Brilliant. Looking at the MMA scene in Wales, first of all, we need to start out with Mason Jones and his recent victory at Cage Warriors 113 in Manchester, also to an MC crowds, winning the lightweight strap. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I've watched Mason Jones a few times. I think he's a world-class fighter. I think he's a great fighter.
Yeah, he really is. And so he became the fourth Welshman to take a Cage Warriors title. What does something like that do for the sport of MMA in Wales?
It shows that the Welsh can do it. It shows that we deserve to be in there. Obviously, it's like we got the fighting cities like Liverpool, Manchester, all those sort of cities. They kind of overlook the Welsh MMA, but we come to fight. We come to have a good scrap, and the likes of Mason Jones, obviously Brett Johns, Jack Shaw, even Jack Marshman. These guys show that even my coach, Azi Thomas, who's fought at a high level as a professional, it shows that no bar is set for Welsh MMA. If you put your mind to something and train hard and dedicate yourself to it, it's possible.
And in terms of the Welsh MMA scene as a whole, in terms of some of the prospects or rising stars, any names that we need to be looking out for?
Yeah, definitely. One of my teammates, well, actually two of my teammates, Kyle Jones, he fought on the same card as me in Barnsley. He's now 5-0. He's an upcoming prospect. Last guy that he beat recently fought for the Cage Steel welterweight title, and he's not took the easy route. He took hard fights against guys way more experienced, and he's definitely one to look out for the future. Another one is Chris, another one of my teammates. He's now 2-3-0. Again, he's not taking the easy route. He's took hard fights. It's what Azi always does. He gets hard fights, never easy fights. So those two guys are definitely ones to look out for the future.
Well, I guess the harder fights give you an opportunity to learn a lot about yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The harder fights are better because you get nowhere fighting cans, because you can literally build yourself a record up to like 5-0, 10-0 fighting cans. But once you get in there with someone who's actually fought a decent level, you get exposed. So you rather have hard fights rather than easy ones.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think that then moves us on to the final part of the show, Harry, and that's to look at your flash fives. So this is the part of the show, Harry, where I will ask you 5 questions and you just give me your best answer. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
All right. So first question for you, Harry, is who would you like to compete against, dead or alive?
Compete against Diego Sanchez.
Ah, legends. I mean, how many fights has that guy had?
He's had just too many to count, and the amount of times he's been cut, bloodied. Surprised he's still going.
And he is still going, isn't he?
Still going. Yeah, he's got a bit strange recently, in my opinion. He's not the same old Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, he's I think possibly he's been hit one too many times, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the amount of wars that he's had is just is insane.
Yeah, he is the definition of a warrior.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Either you go on your shield or he goes out. There's no other way.
Indeed. Yeah, you've got to respect Diego Sanchez for sure. Your ideal way to finish an opponent?
Ground and pound, in my opinion. I've not done it yet, but I've been close. I say ground and pound.
Number 3, what specific combat sport bout would you love to have competed in?
Be a part of and competed in.
Competed in?
The McGregor Diaz first fight or the second one.
Yeah, that was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah, epic. Two two of the best fights in the history of MMA.
Yeah, and can you believe that fight would never have happened had it not been for Dos Anjos pulling out of the fight with Conor?
Yeah, it's mad to think that could never have happened. And of all the guys that called for that fight, like Cowboy, Frankie Edgar, Charles Oliveira, like all top guys, and they chose Nate Diaz. It's just mad to think all that spirals because they chose him.
What superpower would you have, Harry?
I say time travel because I wish I could start MMA a bit more sooner rather than I did.
It's remarkable how you fighters just really want to get back into that cage. Everyone's just chomping at the bit, eh?
Yeah, just chomping at the bits. I miss competing. I miss the adrenaline, and as weird as it sounds, I miss getting punched in the face.
What was that feeling like, getting punched in the face for the first time?
I enjoyed it in a weird way. I enjoyed it. And when I told my parents that, they thought something was wrong with me, but I said I love to compete. I love the physical side of it. I just thought it was brilliant.
And then one rule in MMA that you would change either at the amateur level or professional level, Harry?
Amateur level, I say knees to the face because on GP UK where I've competed, the rule set is different to other shows. They actually allow you to knee to the face. So that was a big mental adjustment on the night because I didn't know the rule set on GP UK. But when I got to the show, the referee was saying, this is the rule set. You are allowed to knee to the face. And all the fighters just looking at coaches a bit baffled and confused. They're like what? So that was a bit of an adjustment for me. So I definitely say knee to the face in the amateur game.
Okay, excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, Harry. How was it for you, mate?
It was awesome. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No, you're more than welcome. I really, really appreciate your time, and I wish you nothing but the best in your MMA career and in life in general. You have a tremendous attitude there, Harry.
Cheers, thank you. I appreciate it, mate, and I wish you nothing but the best as well.
Yeah, wise head on young shoulders for sure.
I've had to grow up quite quick. Let's just say that.
I understand, Harry. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So everyone, that's episode 4 wrapped up with the Welsh Bandits, Harry Kenworthy. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in again to Flash Knockdown, the show that engages with people of the combat sports world. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to Harry.
Thank you, mate. See you later.
Thank you. Thank you, Harry.